What's up, everyone? It's another episode of CRU TV, episode 51. And the name of this episode is, Why Am I So Tired? Why are you so tired? Why do you feel so tired? I'm going to cover all these things and express why you should be taking the proper precautions to prevent yourself from getting so tired. Or maybe you have no freaking idea, and that's why you should watch this video. So before we dive too deep into it, real quick, make sure to subscribe, that link right there below, and then we'll see you in the next video. But let me start this one by saying a quote by Vincent van Gogh. You first have to experience what you want to express. So before, that's just me prefacing this episode and letting you guys know I have experienced overtraining. I have experienced exhaustion and it being extremely tired, waking up at 4 a.m. and staying up till 12 midnight for days and weeks straight and training for an hour and a half a day, 6 days a week, and just being exhausted. And then I ended up in these vicious cycles of fatigue or adrenal fatigue where my body was constantly in fight or flight mode when my cortisol levels were wild. It was terrible. It was terrible. And I was doing these training programs to experience with my body and these high volume powerlifting bodybuilding hybrid programs. And while the initial results were great, it wasn't durable. It wasn't long lasting. It just wasn't smart. I could tell my health was suffering from that. So I've since adjusted my workout programs for myself, since adjusted my workout programs for some of my clients who experienced overtraining as well. You live and you learn. But first off, why are you so damn tired, right? Let's get to the point. Number one, you may be overtraining and not realize it. You may not have the right program. You may not have the right coach. You may not have a coach at all. And the thing is, overtraining comes in many different forms, but most of the time it's because of an accumulation of a ton of things. And I'm going to cover that right now, so stick with me to the end of the episode. So, how do you know if you're overtraining? Well, you probably felt that fight or flight feeling where your cortisol levels or your stress is extremely high. Now, you're going to have outside factors too. You're going to have the stress from work, maybe the stress from a relationship or financial stress. That's always going to get to you. So you need to learn how to combat this and battle this. And usually that's in the form of breathing meditation or yoga. So always keep that in your back pocket and realize that you may be overtraining and training too much. And on your off days or just taking a day off, if you're training every day, you probably should treat yourself to a day of where you do 20 minutes of yoga or 20 minutes of meditation or an hour of yoga. Another thing is watching your caffeine intake. Watching your caffeine intake, watching how much coffee you drink, documenting this information and tracking this information. Watch how much coffee you take in and limit that, especially if you're starting to feel that overwhelming fatigue. Look at yourself in the mirror, make sure you don't have any bags under your eyes and stuff like that. That's another sign as well. And sleep. Next thing, are you getting enough sleep? Are you tracking your sleep? You're tracking your quality of sleep on a scale of 1 to 10. Are you getting 5 hours? Are you getting 8 hours? Track that. Experiment with 9 hours of sleep. See how you feel. Experiment with 7 hours of sleep. See how you feel. Now, I'm the type of guy, I need at least 7 hours of sleep a night. And that's where I feel like I will prosper. Have I done 4 hours of sleep a night for weeks? Absolutely. Have I done 5? Yes, absolutely. But 7 at least is where I need to be at my best, to be in my top game, in my tip-top shape. So everyone's different. Find your niche, right, with sleep. Rest is another thing that's a little bit different than sleep. And I'm not talking about rest like taking a nap. I'm talking about the time of rest between when you finish your workout to the next workout that you have. Rest, it's part of the program. You probably heard that. Rest, it's actually part of the program. So if you train 4 days a week, those 3 days of rest are part of the program where you should not be touching weights. So make sure that rest is part of your program and embrace the rest. On rest days, that's when you should do your yoga. That's when you should do your meditation, and make sure that you hydrate. Next step, hydration. So you're probably, not saying you're probably, but You may be drinking so much coffee, not getting enough sleep, not resting enough between workouts, and not hydrating enough. These are going to lead to adrenal fatigue and overtraining. So this is probably why you're so damn tired. Make sure you hydrate, at least a gallon of water a day. If you're taking creatine or if you're drinking a ton of caffeine, you're going to need to increase your water intake, right? Creatine soaks up water into your muscles. That's what creatine's for. So it's going to use extra water. So you're going to need to increase. Caffeine is a diuretic that's going to piss out everything. So you need to increase your water intake. All right? Keep that in mind. And last but not least, which I mentioned in the beginning of the video, is your relationships that you're currently having with friends or your loved ones, and how that's going and how that affects your stress. More importantly, maybe it's the relationship with your boss or one of your coworkers that's stressing you the hell out. You need to manage this stress. You need to take a deep breath and realize that no one gives a shit but you. So you have to take a step back and just be like, whoa, let me pump the brakes. And that's where the meditation comes into play. Things like meditation really help you realize and think about things in a different perspective. And you're like, is it really that important? Is it really that important for me to worry about my boss being a jerk? Is it really that important that, my coworker said this? No one gives a damn. They just don't care. The only person that cares is you, so you're creating this world in your own head. So take a step back, take some deep breaths. It's going to be great for your body. It's going to be great for your mind. There's a whole bunch of things and these stress factors that come into play. If you're trying to build muscle, you got to keep your stress low. There's some supplements that you can take to help stress. Instead of coffee, maybe drink green tea. There's a lot of things that I help with my clients to manage stress and practice that. So it's extremely important to keep that in mind. Do your research, track your results. As I always say, take notes. All right, guys, so that's it for episode 51. Make sure you cover those things. Make sure you watch this video, share this video with your friends, your loved ones if they're experiencing fatigue, or maybe you just see they're working their ass off and they look like they're just drained. Share this video with them and let's get after it, guys. Have a good one. Peace.